Speaking of rich, we will move on to our next story about an iPhone 13 that was bought for 5,000 plus, and a fake version was sent over instead. Now, a UAE resident, Francis Lamas, purchased the new iPhone, which is a 512 GB iPhone 13 Pro Max, for 5,970 dirhams, and he bought it online. But what ended up getting delivered was a total shocker. So basically, instead of getting a legit phone, what arrived was a duplicate with an Android system. Now, the box looked legit, but when he opened the iPhone, it was an Android recovery. That was what was displayed on the screen, and the Amazon ad, which he clicked, stated new Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max with FaceTime, 512 GB graphite. That's the ad that he clicked on, and that was what was listed online, and the seller was Amazon.ae. So it's like, you don't have any doubts when you see that, because you think it's from the platform itself and the authorized Apple sellers. So normally you would think that you wouldn't think something other than the authentic product itself would be delivered to you.
So Francis placed the order on January 10, 2022, and when it arrived a few days later, what showed up was a complete knockoff of the actual iPhone. The box looked like a little worn out and stated that it was made and assembled in China. Francis sent a request to have it returned, the money refunded, and raised a complaint with customer services. Did that happen?
We need to follow up on that, but I'm sure with Amazon, their customer service is so on point. If something like this did happen, I wouldn't even doubt for a second that they would be on it, and they would come and probably take the package back and refund with some kind of, like...
It's tricky because I think sometimes you have to be sure of the seller, because if you are duped in the wording, then you may not have a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
A little bit different, but I booked a hotel room before. Absolute disaster of a hotel room. It was in the middle of a building, and the window was actually a plastic covering that looked out onto the smoking section of one of the busiest nightclubs in Dublin.
Okay.
So noise, smells, sounds, until like for the wording. But when I went to complain, that was in a little asterisk at the bottom that was the case, that there was no window and that it was actually just like right next door to a busy smoking section of a nightclub. So I had no leg to stand on. I certainly tried, but I know, and that's the thing. So if you are buying online, you need to be super duper careful.
So they didn't do anything to sort it out? Like,
no,
they didn't
because
move your room?
I had no. We actually ended up leaving at like 1 a.m. But that's a whole other story. But no, but it was also a very busy night, and they had no other rooms. But we didn't actually try to move rooms, but I tried to complain, and they were like, "But you've been told."
But no refunds.
No refunds.
That sucks. But I really hope Francis gets his refund, because I mean, he deserves it. Clearly, it's so.
Spending 5k on an iPhone and the fake arriving, like that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That gets you right here. Like, that's too much.
It's a lot of money.
However, not everyone has bad experiences when they're using
Amazon,
online sellers.
I got my iPhone from Amazon, and as far as I know, it's pretty legit, unless it's otherwise. But yeah, I mean,
most phones I've bought, I always use online sellers. I always feel like you get the best deals, and you're finding the best deals. And I've always been fortunate, but you know that there is a risk involved always. So you have to really do your due diligence. I'm not saying Francis didn't. I'm just saying that it's just a risky minefield.
But I feel like this one, it's very tricky, because there's nothing that gives off the fact that it's like not an authorized seller. Because I think once we covered the story of the fake AirPods, and someone spent 200 on AirPods.
Best story of 2018.
It was 2018?
I actually can't remember. It was a few years ago.
I think 2020. It was during COVID, when we were doing like the Amazon shopping lists. And there was an AirPod that we sold that was being sold for 200 dirhams. So someone bought it, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is such a good deal," because AirPods sell for 900, 800, 900 plus, and what came was a giant fake AirPod product, right? Do you remember?
I remember the photos. Like, it was just like a massive earbud piece. But it's always like, if you buy clothes online, sometimes it's like Amazon version, and it's like this like model looking amazing, and then there's the when it comes to you, and it's just like, how is this a piece of clothing?
Expectations
versus reality.
Yeah.
On that note, guys, that is it for us. The top stories today. Our top story was Novak Djokovic. If you're tuning in now and you'd like to hear it all, we're going to post this directly onto IGTV, so you can see the full show there. If you have questions about him, if you want to hear the comments on the show. Also, we go live on Facebook, Twitter,
YouTube, Twitter,
Instagram,
TikTok,
all of it. That's it. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Stay safe. Wash your hands.